Good morning. So welcome back to CJ's Old Time Farm. I am going to finish talking about what I was talking about the other day. I never got to finish talking about the animals and how they can stay warm and how you can help them stay warm. It's kind of actually nice today, but we are going back into a deep freeze next week, so this is still pertinent information. Let me see. So their feed is one of the really important factors that keep them warm. Whole corn, even cracked corn, and black oil sunflower seeds, things with some high protein and a lot of like fibrous material around it help them to stay warm. Their body is working to digest it, and it keeps them warmer. Put it down. Let me see. Come on, put it down. And the dog always needs exercise. She's very high strung. So I always come out in the morning and play with her a little bit. And I just thought we could talk while I'm doing that. I'm also going to be learning more about how to mix my own feed so that I can be sure of every single ingredient that's in their feed. I found a really good recipe for the chicken feed, so now I've got that information. I want to make sure that that jives with what the ducks need, and of course the goats need something a little bit different. So, but that's one of the things we'll definitely be working on this year, is having more of our feed either grown here or at least mixed here rather than just buying a bag. But feed is definitely an important factor in how they stay warm. There's one thing you can do for chickens' combs is you can put Vaseline on them. I try to just stick with the breeds that are more cold hardy, so I don't have to do that. And they tend to keep each other warm enough. I've very rarely had a problem with the combs, except for this one rooster I had. He had a big, beautiful comb, and I didn't get out there to put anything on it, and it did get a little frostbite on the tips. And it was still a handsome comb after, but not quite the same. But anyway, it's really better to just get animals that are suited for your environment, just like the plants you grow. So the other day, like I said, I had started a video about how to keep yourself warm and how important that is, along with some of the things that the animals can do to keep themselves warm. I am just going to kind of put some bullet kind of tips on this video, and then I'll be writing a blog post with more detailed information on how the animals actually cope with the cold. I don't know if you can see her over there by our pile of things we cover for the winter. See the tail? See that tail? She loves to put her nose in and snuffle after and find the ball. And the whole time she's playing ball, her tail never stops. It is her absolute favorite thing to do. Just want to talk a little bit about winter. Yeah, we've just had a big snowstorm. I know everybody's talking about it. And I talked the other day a little bit. I was talking about how I switch out pails and rabbit waterers. That's how we do water around here. I do it at least twice a day, depending on the day. Sometimes I'll do it 3 times. One very important thing for all animals is drinking water. It helps them to stay warm. It actually, especially for the goats and even the bunnies, because they're kind of ruminants, it creates like this little vat inside of them that heats them up and keeps them warm. But I also wanted to talk to you about you. What keeps you warm? If you're not comfortable, you're not going to spend the time you need out here to take care of your animals. So it's very important that you know how to dress yourself. One thing that I learned very young growing up in Maine was layers. Layers upon layers are what helps you stay warm. They trap air pockets. So like today I've got on long johns and then I've got on fleece lined pants. So those are another 2 layers really. I've got on long johns under this. I've got a sweatshirt on and I've got my nice heavy jacket on. I've got 2 pairs of socks, weatherized boots, and a hat. Very important to wear a hat, keeps you warm, and it really should be a winter hat. You know, baseball caps are great, but they're not going to keep you warm like a nice heavy wool or fleece hat will, or fur. And scarves. You will not believe the difference wearing a scarf will make in keeping you warm. So if you wear all this stuff, you're going to be comfortable and you're going to take the time with your animals that needs to be taken so that they're also comfortable. Another thing, excuse me, is their shelters. Animals, no matter what, they still need ventilation. And if you don't coddle them and baby them, their instincts kick in over the fall and with the lessening light, and they'll develop winter coats. They'll do a lot of different things. I think maybe I'll write a blog post that would be easier to really go into details about what each animal that I have is able to do to keep them warm. For instance, ducks have thermal sensors in their feet, if you will. Plus, they're able to wind their leg around and tuck it up under their wings. That's just one instance. Like I said, I'll do a blog post and I'll link that below before I publish this video. But anyway, their shelters. Normally on a given day, I will open their shelters. The chicken coop gets opened up. The barn door, shed door, whatever you want to call my little shelter, gets opened up on either side so that there's lots of ventilation. But on days like this, when the wind chill is below 0, or even close to that, I will still open it a little ways, but just a crack, just so there's a little bit coming in. And really, if it was into the prevailing winds, I wouldn't even do that. I'd keep it sheltered and shut right up. But I have arranged all of my buildings and doors so they're facing away from the winter winds. And that way is another way that you're able to keep your shelters and your animals warm without babying them and coddling them. Heat lamps are a fire hazard. And it gets pretty cold around here, but I just don't use them. The only thing that I will do sometimes when it's really going to be below 0 for a number of days. If it's just one day, I don't. But I will come out and at nighttime, just before dark, we have a wood stove. I'll layer ash on the bottom of my metal ash can, and I'll put a few hot coals in there, and then I'll layer that on top. I'll layer ash on top of that. That creates a little heater. It's not going to be hot enough to burn through the floor or anything, but you put it on like a ceramic tile or a cement stone or something where the animals can't get to it and knock it over. And that just makes it just the few degrees warmer that they need to keep themselves okay over the night. Now, you know, I'm not saying that they're any more thrilled with being cold than we are, but God created them with the equipment that they need to stay warm. Our equipment is a brain that helps us figure out ways to stay warm, but they don't have the intelligence that people have. And I do believe that they're a lot smarter than people think they are, but a lot of the things that they do are instinctual. So, I moved suddenly. So that's it for that part of the conversation. I have been going over the footage and editing the video that I've been talking about and the one you're watching today. And I realized as I was writing the blog post to go along with it and watching and editing that I talk about the food that I feed the animals, but I just kind of briefly go over it all. So I in an effort to keep the blog and the video, you know, not too long, I'm not going to talk about it today, but I just wanted you all to know that over the next week, I'm going to put together a post and a video about the feed and the proportions that I use to the amount of animals that I have. And I'm actually just going to talk about right now how I feed them in the winter. I'll put out another video sometime in the late spring talking about how we feed them in the summer, because it's quite a bit different. There's a lot more forage, and so anyway, it changes. But for right now, I just want to concentrate on the winter because that's what we're all going through. All right, so in conclusion, I wanted to thank you all for watching this video, and you know, give it a like, hit the thumbs up, and if you like what you see and you want to continue sharing my journey with me, why not subscribe? All right, have a great day.